Hey guys, hello everyone. So apologies for the delay in transmission and with the whole issues with the network, but we are here now. Please, if you can see me and if you can hear me, let me know. Guys, we have some of the amazing people here. We have Josh Tufoni, we have Elozonam, and we have Folasade Daini. Guys, this is going to be an amazing session. So please, Emmanuel, can you just add them to the stream so that we could get started? I know that our guests have a whole lot of things to do, and we apologize for the break in transmission. Yes, we have Josh Tufoni here, Folasade and Elozonam. Amazing, amazing. All my guys are ballers. Elozonam is here, Folasade is here, guys. I'm so excited. So let's just get right into it, right? Let's just get right into it. So, actually, this session we'll be talking about like content creation and how like creators can use content to take their message global, right? Because the theme of the summit is like taking your message global. And I would love to start with Josh, right? So Josh, basically you are you're the master of making trends go viral. From Don't Leave Me to All My Guys Are Ballers, and also to like your to the audition. Like these are content pieces that you have that like these things that go viral. What factors do you think actually adds up to like your content being a global sensation?
Okay. Good day, everybody. Elozonam is good. Folasade, Milton, Tete. Thank you for having me here. Okay, yeah. So, virality is unprecedented. It's not something you plan, you know. But then there are factors you can just put in place to give your videos potentials of going viral. And what I think is my key factor is barriers. If you can erase some of the barriers or reduce some of the barriers, like language barriers, and age barriers, So I know some people know that Just Phone is like a family brand. Everybody can consume what I produce. And I try as much as possible, to meet everybody's needs, to make sure that children, adults, will one way or the other find my videos appealing. And language barrier in the sense that I don't know if you know Kabi. Kabi doesn't talk, and that's why he's all over the world because everybody understands the person that don't talk. You understand? But because your comedy might be in Yoruba language. So most times it's probably the Yoruba community you reach out to, and you have totally lost some of your Igbo fans, your Calabar fans, your other people. Yeah. So I think it's just those factors that you put. But when you put them in place, it doesn't mean they will just go viral. Sometimes you don't know how these things just happen. Yeah, but those are the things you can just to give them more respect. Yeah.
True, I feel you. I feel you. That's amazing. And you've actually, used these things in your own content from Don't Leave Me to All My Guys Are Ballers. Like literally, Josh Tufoni is a viral sensation. So you are a walking piece of whatever I just said right now. So thank you so much for that, Josh. Thanks a lot. So Folasade, over to you. There is something you know how to do with personal brands. Like you are a force in the content creation industry when it comes to digital product sellers, content writers, content marketers, and you know and understand how to like create relatable content and you build a personal brand around that. What do you think like creators like myself and like the over 20,000 creators that signed up for like this summit should like what are those key elements do you think we could add to our personal brands to like so that we can appeal to the global audience?
Yeah, thank you, Milton, for having me. Hi, Josh. Hi, Elizabeth. Excited to be here with you guys. Yes, I would say that's the most important thing, right? Especially because a lot of people are trying to build their brands and they are like already established people in the niche. Is to be authentic. You just have to be yourself. You have to be the best version of yourself. And I feel like that's one of the things that really helped me. So I transitioned into tech, started really creating content in 2020 during the the COVID-19. And I used to be a veterinary doctor. I went to school, studied veterinary medicine, and was practicing in Lagos, before we came to Canada. And just sharing that story, sharing that story about my role as a vet doctor, how stressful it was. A lot of Nigerians don't even value their dogs in that sense. So now imagine you being a vet, people are like, oh, you're the doctor of dogs and cats and all of that. So just sharing that story and sharing how I was inspired to leave veterinary medicine, come into content creation and build a niche for myself, basically transitioning into a tech career with no background in that was what like drew people. So I would share like a thread on Twitter and people would be like, oh, I'm a vet student as well, or oh, I studied microbiology and now I'm creating content. So I would say being authentic is really important. Don't pretend to be what you are not. Don't pretend to be an expert when you are not. I see a lot of people who probably like were social media managers and now they are the CEO of a company or they are the marketing director, and you literally have just 1 year of experience. You're not doing yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, by doing that, right? Because you've put yourself in a pedestal above what where you are currently. And then I feel like the most important part of building a good personal brand is doing quality work, because you see, you can say a lot of things online. You can say that you can say that you know how to do 1,000,001 things. You can say you're an expert at SEO. However, if you don't, people will hire you, right? Talking the talk, will get you into the room. But if you don't have the skill set, to actually do the work, if your content is not engaging, if you're creating content online, or maybe you bought followers so that people have like a sense of, they think like you're very good. But by the time people hire you, brands hire you to promote their, work, their products, and you're not doing well. So I would say like doing quality work is like really important to back up whatever claim, that you're making online, so that at the end of the day, because people talk, right? At the end of the day, when asking about Elozonam, they're asking about Folasade, they're asking about Josh, and the brands and the campaigns they've worked on, they can say, oh, this person actually delivered, this person understands their work. And then the final thing will be to genuinely care about the people you work for and the people because at the end of the day, personal branding is about leaving impressions in the mind of people. So if you get a client, or if you're working, with people, you want to genuinely care. You want to genuinely care about your audience. I have about 98,000 followers on Instagram. I know that's small compared to Josh and Elozonam, but I really care about my people, right? I genuinely care about them. My girls know that I am passionate about them transitioning into a no-code tech career. They know that I want them to get godly dating right. So genuinely caring about people, doing quality work and being authentic, being your true self. Don't lie, don't form. If you live in wherever you live, don't go to someone else's house to shoot content. There are people at every stage of your journey that can connect with whatever you have at that moment. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So at this point, I'll be taking a step back and allow my co-host Ebere Lisa to continue from here. Thank you so much, guys. Good to see you, Josh. Good to see you, Elozonam. I'm a big fan of your work. Bye.
Hello, everyone. I do apologize for the interruption and the issues with the internet, but it's all fixed now, and I have been listening in the background. Great conversations so far. And next question will definitely be for Elozonam. And while drafting this question, the thoughts in mind was, there's this almost like a praise and shame relationship that community members or fans have with creators. For example, in your case, just a week after winning the African Magic Awards, then almost the next week, you made a comment about your personal interests, your personal decisions when it comes to relationships, and everybody took it on Twitter and made it a problem. So my question would be, in the course of going global, in the course of being as big as you are, obviously you've encountered some of this controversy, some of these issues. How do you handle them? How do you stay focused and keep creating your authentic content and just being you and managing the controversies that come with that?
I ignore them.
Okay.
That's simple. Like, I ignore them. I see everything. I mean, I see most of it. I ignore. Like, for instance, that comment that I made was taken heavily out of context. Like, if people watched the video, they'd know exactly what I was talking about, and with proper context. It was taken out of context. Blogs carried it left, right, and center. The next thing, people were discussing it on radio, taken out of context. So lots of these things you ignore. Every once in a while, you have to let off steam, so you pick one scapegoat and address them. But like generally, I just ignore people because they are usually misinformed and making comments without actual proper context. And it's a reflection of who they are. It has more to do about who they are than me. So why would I give energy to that or life to that? I keep it pushing, except of course, it's slander, something that might affect my image on the long run or short run, or affect a bag or something. Then I feel the need to address, because there's some very sensitive issues that you can't just ignore. But I'm not that kind of person. I've never had that kind of drama, and I don't intend to. So I just ignore. Period.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Now, because you have partnerships and collaborations with other brands, does this controversy in some cases affect your relationship with them or how they trust you to represent them?
So the good thing is, Folasade made a very, 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 very important statement here. You have to care about the brands that you work for, right? Because they would know. So the brands that I work for, especially the long-term ones, I have a good personal relationship with a lot of them. So they trust me to an extent. So when these things happen, yeah, if they like, okay, so for instance, like a couple years ago, something happened on Twitter. Somebody came out to accuse me of something, and it trended. Like it trended so hard that they still make reference to it till date. And because of that, I had to reach out to my brands, my the brands that I was working for then, to let them know of the situation before they even get wind of it. And that was, so I was preempting the entire thing. So that was another thing, because I had to reach out to them. That's to show that I actually care. And they said, okay, cool, handle it. Get a lawyer, do handle it. But my bag was like, my relationship with them was very secure. So when you care about them, it shows. They're not quick to cast you away. They're not. You just have to take steps in order to like protect yourself and them as well. But then again, the number one thing that you have to do, especially when you have partnerships with very big brands, is to keep yourself out of trouble. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that in context. Now, Josh, still on the matter of creating content and taking it global. I remember back in the 2020 COVID era where everybody was at home and then Don't Leave Me started trending. And for some people on the international, you were not the face of it. And I follow your brand actively. So I know when you consciously said making it known that you are the creator of this trend. So I'd like to ask, being on the international scene, are there moments or times when you've had intellectual property issues, times when someone took your concept and what you had to do to reclaim that?
Yeah, okay. For the things that we do, content creating, and for somebody that likes to be viral, or someone that has desire to go viral, you should prepare your mind already that sometimes you won't get hold of all the credits you deserve when your works go viral. Sometimes they just blow and leave you behind. You go to where even you cannot reach. Some of these things. There's so many things that are trending these days that people don't even know I started. In fact, I way too much viral stuff that people are even giving me credits for. This goes, people say it was from my video, it started trending. There's this other video that I tried as much as possible to get my hands on and collect money from it, but that one, it's a lot. There's this one, this ping, 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 ping. People still use it now. I created that video, that audio in 2016, and it went viral. Some guy from Ghana created this animation with the sound, and it started trending. It went out. Some people even know it's from Nigeria. So sometimes you just need to just agree with yourself that some of these things that you do, they just leave you. So sometimes all you can just do is just keep saying it, keep letting people know that, hey, this is my thing, because if it's your thing, it's your thing. You need to protect it by all means. You might not get the money, but try and get your credit, try and get your accolades because you deserve it. So what I was always doing was I was always posting it. I'm like, hey, this is me. This is my voice. Back. I was able to call attention back to myself. The same thing happened with Don't Leave Me. A lot of people tried to claim it, and you have to fight for it because it's your hustle. It's my hustle. And I had to do what I have to do. I had to do. I made a lot of videos. I made a song out of it. I wasn't going to make a song out of it if people didn't claim it. I was just, okay, yeah, let's go with the flow. But then people were trying to hijack it. I had to enter studio fast, do a song. I was even willing to, I was even trying to do a movie and release merch to claim it back. You cannot come and rip red, so I got hurt on it. So yeah, that's it. But you need to prepare your mind that you can't get everything back. Some of them you will still have to fulfill and let people enjoy it. That's why it is virality. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Folasade, I'd like to ask you this question because I know that you clearly share a platform that you work 9 to 5. So, what strategies or what systems are you put in place to allow you to function as a 9 to 5er and then still create content and not burn out?
Okay. So funny how I was on an IG live yesterday or 2 days ago, and someone asked that question, right? And my first response was, "It's my husband." Right? I know it's cliche, but it's the truth. Having a supportive partner, and I say it all the time, it's like one of the core reasons why I am even in content creation today, and I have like a tech career because of this man. He's like super supportive. If I have, like, for example, now, like, I was to join this this session, and it was one that helped me. I'm using his laptop because mine wasn't working well. So the first thing would be to say, like, I have a very supportive partner. He helps out with our daughter, is very hands-on with her, and that gives me a lot of flexibility to take on jobs. But apart from that, I will also say not taking more than I can take on at a time. So currently I consult for like different startups, and sometimes I get like different people, different brands reach out to say, "Oh, we want to work with you." But I also know that because it's a service-based business, right, I can only do as much. So I have like a limit. Like last quarter now, I took about just 3, tech startups to do their content strategy for them. So I would say that knowing what your limits is and not stretching yourself out. Yes, there is a part of being productive, but there is also understanding that if you want to consistently deliver quality work, you cannot take on more than this number of clients at the same time. And then the third thing would be to outsource and train. So I have a number of freelancers that work with me, that, okay, so when they come on board, I train them, and then I know what I would outsource to them. I know the task, that I would delegate to them that makes my work easier. I do the strategy, they do part of the execution, that just helps, the productivity to be better. And then the final one will be time management. I know that a lot of people say this, and it's something I'm still struggling with, myself. But one thing I've tried to do is to make sure like I'm working, at optimal time. I know like the times when I'm most productive. I know those times, and that's like late in the night when my daughter has gone to bed, or very early in the morning when she has not woken up yet. So I try as much as possible to do most of my work. If I'm batch shooting, for example, I would have written like my script out, I would have set everything up maybe a night before, so that the next morning it's way easier. And another thing that I would say like it is really important, and I feel like it's a hack for consistency and for being productive, is batch creating content. There are times when I'm like super excited, I'm in the mood, to create content, because I have like an Instagram page, I have a YouTube channel, and then I still have my 9 to 5, right? So it can be very tricky trying to manage all of that. But there are days like I just set it down and say I'm creating content for Instagram today, and I shoot about 6 videos, or I say I'm creating content for YouTube and I shoot like 4 videos. So I can now start sharing. So I feel like batch creating is a very like important hack for anyone who is struggling, who has a 9 to 5, you have a job, and content creation is not paying you so much yet for you to leave your 9 to 5. So doing that, getting a supportive partner. If you're a lady and you're listening to me, you know that I say this all the time. If you are very ambitious, you have goals in your career, don't marry someone that will clip your wings. Don't date someone that will say you're doing too much. It's like super, super important. Yeah. So that would be it from me.
Yeah. Shout out to your amazing husbands and partners. Now, you have this series with your neighbor, which I find very interesting. And I'd like to ask, how do you approach collaboration with other creators and brands such that it allows you both have mutually beneficial partnerships?
um okay, so I might be the not so right person to ask that question, because I just really started collaborating. Off and on, like I'd invite people to come and do my thing, but most of the time I create my content by myself. But like I had to be intentional about Hello Neighbor, right? So in my mind, I'm like I wanted to create a series, and I wanted to, like Folasade said again, batch create. So I and that's something I typically don't do. So I had to do this. I had to try it this time for consistency's sake. And I was trying to tell a story, and it's also very cost effective as well. So I had to invite people. The entire point was to have, like, in each episode you'd see like a face that like a cameo, and you'd be like, oh my god, this person is here. So I think what has worked for me is the fact that I've put in a lot of work when it comes to the quality of my content, right? And when I say quality, how it looks, how it feels, how it sounds, and the actual content of it all. So if I reach out to somebody and say, hey, what's up? I want you to be on this thing. I have a higher chance of getting a yes than a no or like a scene, you know? So my personal thing is always to get so good that you hardly get a no. So if I reach out to you and I want you to be on my content, just best believe that if you put it on your page, it looks great. Like, so you're getting something out of it as well, right? Yeah, and I always try to make sure that everybody who's on my content, gets something out of it at the very least. Do you get? So I last year I did my Back from the Future with Macaroni was on it, Kiki was on it, and the one with Kiki won an AMVCA. So I mean, that's something like that. So I'm like, I was really happy that I won and she won as well. I was really, really elated that she won as well. So I feel like, personally, the thing I do is just to make sure my work is so pristine that if I call you, that just by being in it, you get something out of it. Yeah, that's it for me.
So if the work is excellent, people won't even have to ask why they need to be there because they know it's valuable.
Exactly. Yeah, because I want people to say that, oh, I want to be in this. Because I've had that in my comment section as well. Like people say, I want to be in this. I want to be in your stuff. I want to feature in your stuff. That's the point I've been trying to get to, and I feel like I have achieved.
I will agree. Yeah, your content is
I can
indeed
attest to that as well.
yes, it's
Very
you
quality content.
Thank you.
So Josh, I'd like to ask, when it comes to monetizing your content on an international scale, are there strategies, platforms, partnerships you found instrumental for generating revenue from a global audience?
Yeah, there are so many platforms like that. I mean, that we know. Yeah, YouTube. I heard some people make money with TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and so many other. And some people actually sell their content. Like, there are people that buy this content. And okay, for me, my content is being interpreted in more than 5 languages. So we have partners that interpret into Russian language. We have done Arabic, German, and a whole lot. So what we do with this, we sell them. So if you have gotten to that place where other parts of the world, people from there are asking for your content, then I think it's time to now sell them, aside making money from streaming platforms. Yeah, so I mean, if you're doing content, if you're selling content, you have your mind, you open up your mind, because there's a whole lot of businesses that can come out of it. You keep your ears down for platforms, because platforms come out every day. There are so many platforms that we don't even know here in Nigeria, but they actually stream and pay people for their content. Yeah.
That's the part about translating your content in other languages. I find that quite interesting. I didn't even know that was possible for content creators. I know for movies and other big form content. Thank you so much for that, and I'm sure someone in the audience would add that to their strategy when they go global, or as they are going global. Now, Folasade, I'd like to ask you, being that you're a Christian and you talk about your faith, your beliefs, and your content comes on media, I like to think that not just a thought, but it's what it is, that anybody who's on social media, you're speaking to people from different cultural perspectives, different cultural backgrounds, different beliefs and thoughts. How are you able to appeal to a wide audience but still maintain your value, maintain your views, and share your faith without feeling, from your content, it sort of feels like you're certain, you're confident in sharing without feeling like you're excluding a certain people, or you're speaking only for a certain sector?
Okay, so thank you for this question. And I would like to say that I always tell like brands when I'm consulting, and it applies to personal, like individuals as well, is to know your why. Like, why did you start creating content in the first place? Why did you start sharing? I would talk about that later, but I just wanted to start like with that why, with that core reason. It's a brand value for me, right? Folasade Daini is a brand, and there are core brand values that I'm not going to compromise regardless of whatever audience, do you understand, that I want to reach. Do you understand? Because there is a why, there is a reason why I started creating content. There is a purpose to it. I'm not just creating content because I want to make money. Yes, I want to make money, and I'm always talking about monetization, but I'm saying that the main reason is to help people live better, to help people date better, to help people, okay. And then let me move to the second point that I wanted to say. So initially, when I started creating content, it was literally to scream at the top of my voice to tell girls to open their eye when they're dating. That was why I started. But then that was also like the beginning of my content strategy career, like my tech career, my no-code tech career. And then over time, I noticed that, being able to work in tech gave me like a lot of leverage. Even here in Canada, I got a job here before we moved, right? Like months before we moved. And I noticed like that leverage it gave me. And I just really wanted to share that. So now I started by sharing dating intelligently tips. Then I sort of now moved into the no-code tech area. Whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian or you don't believe in God, do you understand? There are people who are interested in getting into tech, in working. There are content creators who want to learn, tech skills. They want to see how they can bring their skills, their content creation skills into the tech industry. So there was also that part. And now, we just moved to Canada. My family and I moved in December. There is that part of moving, being an immigrant, right, in a new land. So those are three niches that, even if you can't relate on the dating intelligently and choosing God when you're choosing a partner, you will be able to relate on bringing your content creation skills into the tech industry. And if you can't relate on that, you'll be able to relate on, being an immigrant, making wise financial choices, not overspending on or your credit limits, establishing yourself, in a new land. So I feel like being able to branch out, because my faith is not all that there is to me. There are like different things that I do. Just touching on each part of that, appeals to different audiences. So if you're not on my page for dating, tips, you're there to learn how to move into a no-code, tech career, which I have a free course for, people who want to move into that. If you're not there, then you're there for the immigrant tips, life in Canada, as a Black person. Yeah, so I feel like having different niches has appealed to different, category of people. And another thing that I would say that really helps is collaborating with people. So when we initially moved, and I feel like this is something that is really new, because I see a lot of like Nigerians travel out, right? A lot of creators. And maybe when you were in Nigeria, you were doing a lot of pidgin content, you were doing a lot of Yoruba content. But now you're in Canada, you're in the US, you're in the UK, and there are people who you want to appeal to who don't speak that language. So there is that barrier of entering into the collaboration space, the brand collaboration space abroad. And one of the things I did, I would say that really helped, was to book one-on-one sessions with influencers, with brand, people who are here. There was even a time like I had to pay $500 for a one-on-one session, but it was so valuable because then she was able to teach me, this is how we do brand collaborations here. If you want to work with brands in Canada, this is the type of high quality content that you need to create. So I would say that collaborating with people who are already in that niche will also help you like read a wider audience. And someone asked me, how did you get to collaborate with some of the creators, here already, seeing that you're new? And what I told the person was genuinely care. Again, always genuinely care about people. If you're following someone, if you hope to be in their content, engage with their content, support them, buy their courses if they have, buy their books, and who knows, a chance for collaboration might just come up. And with that, you'll be able to tap into their audience and reach a wider range of audience. Yeah.
Awesome. Investing in yourself. I heard that one loud and clear, because a lot of times people prefer to self-learn, which isn't bad, but sometimes the information you need or the next strategy you need is with someone who is way more experienced, and they won't offer it to you for free. And as we wrap up, I'm just going to be asking one question. I think we are almost at the Q&A segment. Elozonam, I would like to ask you, how do you define success in your content creation journey? Social media metrics? I don't think so, but we'd just like to know, are there other metrics, personal goals that you find meaningful that determines what success means for you as a creator?
Okay, so yeah, so there are different metrics that I use. Obviously, the one that jumps out at everyone first would be when you put out a piece of content and it does really well. So your comments are high, your reach is high, engagement is high. I mean, your endorphins are high because of, or your serotonin, everything high because of all of that stuff. That's one way. Yeah. Personally, for me, I enjoy the process of creating, right? And it's stressful, especially when you have to deal with a lot of people. But when I'm in post production and I'm editing and everything is coming together, and it comes together, oh God, like the feeling, like when you see, you've envisioned it, you've thought about it, you've planned it, you've seen it in your head, and then you're now seeing it in your screen exactly as you imagined it, and it's exactly how you thought it was going to be, and it feels exactly how you thought it was going to feel. Now that is winning. That is success for me, right? Because there's so many ideas, like this Hello Neighbor that I did. I've had the idea since last year, maybe August, and I only finished it this year, May. There were a lot of hiccups on the way. I had this whole thing. I was talking to my writer back and forth. These are my ideas. I'd sleep on it. I'd wake up with something new to add to it. So it was just building itself up. And then I had so many obstacles. The lead cast, the Lena lady she wasn't my first choice. Something happened with my first choice, and then so there were so many things that happened. But when everything started coming together, I'm just like, oh, I did it. Like I did it. I did this thing. This is what I did. From concept to finality, I did it. So that's another way another metric. Another thing is you have these unexpected interactions with people in public. Because if I'm going about my day, I see some people talk and make reference to my maybe Back from the Future or my neighbor, or you hope that your neighbor is not stressing you today, and you'd see them and you'd be like, this is not the kind, you're not my demographic, you're not my target audience, but you're watching the show, you're keeping up with the show. Like that is another unexpected thing that happens for me, that I know, okay, you know what, this is actually cutting across my different spheres of the demographic, right? Not just my target audience. My target audience was, for Hello Neighbor, was women 18 to 35, women. Do you get? That was my target audience. But I see guys, old people, old women, elderly, young people watching the show, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. Like this is, oh my God! Like they never see my face when they interact with me. I'm walking here, I'm like, okay, all right, So it's his own reward, to be honest. So that's those are my metrics, top 3 or 4. Yeah, those are my metrics for success.
Awesome. And one thing I heard that you mentioned, it was actually one sentence or one line, but it stuck out for me, and that is, audience 35. And even though you've crossed that with the content, you're actually specific in the creative process, nailing that, oh, this is the audience I want to reach with this specific content. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just as a final question, for up and coming creators, breaking into the global scene is very, very, very competitive and challenging. Sometimes they require resources and they're trying to focus on now. What strategies or approaches are recommended for creating a unique content, even in your startup phase or up and coming phase, such that it can launch you into being a global creator?
Okay, so quality content, has to do with very good story, very creative story, then production. Make sure you don't joke with production.
Okay, so for people like me, we didn't have tools. We started from nothing. Like I was just in my house in Mushin, in my one room apartment with about nine other guys that work at Ladipo in Mushin, and that was where I started creating content with one small Infinix phone that I had then. And I just knew that this is where I belong. I used to be a stand-up comedian. But back in the day, if you don't know one very big comedian, you won't get on stage. So so I was like, let me just transform these my jokes to short clips, short stories, short films, and just do them as skits. And that was how I started. So for me, it was not really about. I was not key. I was not big on producing something that you would watch and you're like, oh my god, produced Steven Spielberg. I just wanted to put out my ideas, just wanted to be creative on, and we started doing it, little by little. So it was more about the creativity. People were fascinated by what is this guy doing? What is this? They liked the person, the person in the video. The video was not clear. The video, in fact, sometimes my audios were bad. You understand? So for startups, you can start with anything you have. Don't wait till your picture is like Elozonam's own, because before you will wait, tire.
It
So
was not always that way, Josh.
no, like when Elozonam came out, like when I first saw your productions, I was like, who is this guy? He's not even a comedian. Like you just want to watch. You just want to watch
Yeah.
it because the picture is inviting, it is captivating. You
It's
want to look
crisp.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very crispy, yes. But for startups, you don't need all that now. Eventually, you're going to get to that stage. Just make do with what you have. If you have an iPhone and you have your talent, you have the gift, you have the passion, do it. Keep doing it, but just know the right time to evolve. Know when it's time to step up, to move to your next level. Because I knew when I was ready to get another phone. I got another Techno phone, and I used that one. I knew, it was time. People are using iPhone now. I bought my iPhone. Then I started stepping up. Then right now we can now get cameras and call crew, and so I mean, give room for growth. So yeah, that's it.
That's so
Awesome.
insightful.
That that's like a closing statement that I think everyone can hold on to if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
Give room for growth because you will eventually grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. Folasade, is there or are there ways that individuals can identify a specific area of interest or niche for their content while still maintaining their authentic online presence? And I'm asking this because sometimes the content that we want to create or share with the world, the message that is interesting, or when you do research, it's not necessarily who you are as a person. So I've seen people who just create content because this is what the market demands and they have certain skills to appeal to that. So are there ways that individuals can still identify specific niches that appeals to them in terms of who they are as a person, their values, but also monetize it or decide to create content but maintain their authentic values and who they are?
Okay. I think the most important thing, and I like when Elozana mentioned that, for him, when he creates content, there is a joy that he gets from the process, right? Again, I always come down to your why, like the purpose, why you creating. Do you just want to make money? If you're just all about the money, then it's fine to do what your heart is not in, like you're just doing it for the money. But if you're going to last in the industry and if you really want to be happy, do you understand? I will always advise that, you should always let purpose fuel your creativity. And the truth is that you would find people, and I want to pick from what Josh said, about starting as you go. When I started shooting, it was a techno phone in the vet hospital where I used to work. I would sit in the car. I didn't even have a tripod, and I would just put my phone, and I would write my script and speak and start doing it. It was later on that I got an iPhone. The same thing that can also apply to finding your niche and finding your audience. It's okay to start with what you think is viral, or to start with to start with an unclear vision in mind and just start creating. As you go, you would realize the ones that your audience relates with the most. And I always say this, listen to your audience, right? You would find the one that your audience relates with the most, and then you can now start, making replicas of that. But most importantly, the most important thing to do is to start, have a strong why, have a strong reason. Here in Canada, right, there are a lot of personal finance creators, and trust me when I say they make a lot of money from brands here. Brands pay as high as $45,000 for one real video. I am not a finance creator, right? Yes, Elozonam, I'm telling you. And this, like, my friend is an influencer marketing manager, right? And she was like, the first day she wrote a check for 45,000, USD for one video. So it's crazy. You get a lot of money, but I also feel like if you
Go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay. I was hearing like something else. Yeah. So, and another thing, but you see, it's good to make money, and money is good. But I feel strongly that if you stay strong to the things that matter to you, to different, maybe yours is that you like creating content you like creating funny content, or you like creating content like this guy does, Fisayo, reviewing tech materials. Initially, it might not be huge, but if you stay with it, there are people in that niche who are ready to put money behind it. But stay true to yourself. That's the most important thing. Stay true to yourself. Listen to your audience. By the time you start experimenting with the different ideas that come to mind, you will see that your audience picks the most, right? Listen to your audience and then reiterate on the things that they like and just stick to that. You will find people. The final example that I want to say is Peace. I don't know if you know Peace. I've forgotten her surname now, but she works as a growth. She's in the tech space as well. And she used to do this founders interview on YouTube. And when she started, like an average person, if you do YouTube videos and you talk about how I met my husband, right? People will watch if you do like funny videos, but Peace was literally interviewing tech startup founders, and she did that for like 3 years, and it was slow, like the growth was slow, but now like it's a known brand. Founders want to work with her. If you're in the tech space and Peace has not interviewed you, yes, her name is Peace Itimi. If Peace has not interviewed you, right, you do you understand? Like the people who build tech startups go to her now. But initially when she started, it wasn't a hot content creation niche, but she was passionate about it and she stuck with it. And I know that if you do the same, if you listen to your audience, if you keep iterating, because there's a lot of experimenting that comes with content, but don't say stop because you don't know, you are not a finance creator, or you don't know how you are going to blow. You now not start. Clarity comes on the way, and just go ahead. Yeah.
Rather insightful. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think her network is down or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, host. Bring
Josh,
back our.
a couple of days ago, I tweeted I was going to be on the same panel as you, and I was like, "How am I supposed to keep a straight face?" I would just be laughing.
They are doing it.
Like my husband and I are like super fans of Juga. It's just crazy.
And I
Yeah,
saw
why?
your video this morning, Josh, the Indian guy. Josh, you'll be dead for me, I swear. You'll be dead, because I don't know how you do those things. Because I feel like there's a lot
It's a
of
straight face.
work.
I don't know how he does it.
How do you do with a straight? Because it's a lot of improv. So how do you do with a straight face?
And
How do you do with a straight face?
No, Josh, that's actually a serious question. How do you do it with a straight face?
When is the job?
The
Man,
fact that you don't have practice, like I don't know how you do it.
not even
But
funny.
you're so straight. Bro, I'm just like, what the?
Especially that one where he wears white and he says, "Is it a rade or something?" And he has like all those marks. I'm like, what?
Bro, please, I'm sorry, but
Oh my god, guys, this has been an amazing conversation. I've just been here jotting things down, learning from you guys. Josh, I'm a big fan. Don't leave me. Literally, don't leave me. Elozonam, like I love what you do so much. Your content is like out of the moon. Like, bro.
Especially that back to the future.
Yeah. Like I've listened to your album. You have an album, G. Like you literally
I have
what?
two.
You have two albums. What are you saying? Josh also has an like Josh, like your music, right?
Oh
it's
my
so
gosh.
unconventional, but I connect with it. There's this one, bad man looking video. You like whenever I listen to this song, that's all I think about. Like every
Have you
time.
heard Unavailable? It's a version of
I've heard
Unavailable.
Oh my god! So just before you leave us, just give us, how you do your sound with your music, right? Just give us something, right, before you leave us.
That thing always come with my anointing. You know, there is a garment of praise I need to put on. Let me just say, I'm unavailable. Daddy, I'm
unavailable.
I'm sorry. Oh, baby, I'm only woman. Daddy, baby, I can't anymore. All of the
Especially when he does that eye.
He can walk.
Oh my god.
Anymore.
Man, Josh, amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Milton, Chief Marketing Officer at Selar. I've been the one sending you emails and all. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for turning up. And we have like over 20,000 people that signed up for this summit just to listen to you guys speak. So it's huge. So thanks a lot so much, Josh Fufoni, Elozonam, Folasade. So before you guys leave, just give us one word for the audience, then we can wrap up this session. Just one word. Folasade, let's start with you.
Yes, I would say that the most important thing to do is to start. Clarity comes on the way. Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Folasade, to start, clarity comes on the way. Elozonam, the king of creativity, over to you.
Hey. Keep an open mind and do not be afraid to be silly.
Awesome. Keep an open mind. Don't be afraid to be silly. Josh Tufoni, king of stand-up comedy and going viral. Over to you.
Anybody want to give up? Make give up. You know the type of thing.
He didn't mean it.
Attempt to give up. See, do it till it kills you. If why you know you love it and it's your passion, do it till you die. You will not die in Jesus' name.
Amen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have an amazing evening. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.